Hi, and welcome back to Books with Carol Ann. Today we're going to go through all the books that I've read in February. In February, I read 6 books, which is actually kind of lower than usual, but I read a lot of big books, so I'm quite happy with it. And as long as I read one book, and as long as I'm keeping up with my reading every day, then I'm happy. The first book I read in February was actually overlapping between January and February, but I finished it. So it was Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, the third book in the Empyrean series, the follow-up to Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I really enjoyed it. I had, I wouldn't say low expectations, but I just didn't have any expectations. I think, and that's why I keep enjoying this series, I think. I don't really look into like theories or all the things like that people usually do. I'm very much, I'll take what she gives me and go from there. I really enjoyed the storyline, the twist, the finale of the book had me absolutely gasping. Yeah, I really enjoyed the book. I'm really happy with it. I am sad that we have to wait so long for the next book now. But I think the next time around I will definitely do a reread of all 3 books. I didn't do one going into Onyx Storm. I watched a YouTube video of someone recapping what had happened. I think I was a bit lost in some of the characters that were in the book. Honestly, like there was a whole part of the book where there was just a million cast of character. Okay, I'm exaggerating, obviously. There was maybe like a dozen characters named and their dragons and different locations, and I was very much lost. But you know what? I don't think I actually needed to know who they were in order to understand what was happening. So I definitely just went with the vibes, and yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. I've already banged on about this book multiple times, but the book I read after Onyx Storm was Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I've already said how much I enjoyed it. I really, really loved it. I'm a big Ali Hazelwood fan, as you may have seen in the previous video. Now I know that I don't actually have to go like this as well. So we're all learning here. I'm a big Ali Hazelwood fan. I've loved most of her books. I really like Deep End. I didn't really understand a lot of the controversy that was around the book. A whole lot of people were saying that they weren't expecting it to be so spicy. Quite a lot of people were saying that they were expecting it to be more spicy. A few people had issues with one of the characters. And so here's what I thought. I thought that Deep End was a really great book, new adult, in which they explore their kinks and BDSM preferences while still being very much new adults. They're young. This is the first partner that they both have where they can experience and explore their kinks. So I thought it was really well done. I definitely was not expecting anything more spicy from Ali Hazelwood. I think my expectations were quite leveled in what I was expecting. A lot of people had issues with Pen, one of the characters. So basically the book starts off with Pen and Lucas dating. But from the first chapter, or even the prologue actually, you kind of find out that Pen has issues with her sex life with Lucas, and then it fast forwards to a year later. So it's got to be the prologue then. It fast forward to a year later, after, spoiler, after Vandy's accident, and basically then Pan, in a drunken stupor, tries to get Vandy. What's her first name? Because Vandy's her last name. Scarlet, there we go. Pen tries to get Scarlet and Lucas to date because they're both kinky as fuck, is what she says as a drunken person. And you know, it's kind of like, haha, you're not serious, are you? But she was serious, sort of. The thing is, she doesn't want to tell, so she's broken up with Lucas at this point. She doesn't want to tell anyone on the team or at the university that they have broken up. So there is this kind of like third wheel thing happening, where Lucas and Scarlet are getting closer. Pan and Lucas are fully broken up. Pan is seeing someone else, but the rest of the world still thinks that Pan and Lucas are like the like campus couple. So there's this kind of like, you know, secret relationship, well, secret hookup situationship happening with Lucas and Scarlet. And also I feel like Pan takes full advantage of still being associated with Lucas, because he's very popular. He's an Olympic medal Olympist. Olympic medal Olympist? What? You know what I mean. So she takes full advantage, and there is this kind of like feeling throughout the book where we're just like, just go away. But at the same time, Scarlet really needs a friend, and is really building that relationship with Pen. Throughout the whole book, I was really thinking that Pen was gonna do something and just gonna like fully come out as the villain, was gonna, you know, knife her in the back at some point, but I won't say any more on that. People don't like her. I think that she was a little annoying, but still a good character. I enjoyed reading that whole process. I did find her annoying, but I think she was meant to be annoying. And I really enjoyed her relationship with Scarlet either way. I don't like some of the comments that she said, but I think, again, it was part of the character flaws that were happening, unlike some other things that people are marking as character flaws. I think that she grew, and I think that a lot of people reading just forgot how stupid they were when they were 21. Yeah. So yeah, I love Deep End. I definitely recommend it. Really good book. I actually don't know how much I can tell you about what I read afterwards. Basically, I fell into a hole, and the next 4 books that I read have all been from the Legend of Thezmarr series. So Blood and Steel by Helen Scheuerer is the first book in the Legend of Thezmarr series, which comes before Iron and Embers, which was just traditionally published, which is this book. So I have read Iron and Embers already, but I thought that I should read the previous series just because I enjoyed Iron and Embers so much, but I wanted to see what the backstory was, and I just wanted to go back and figure out some of these characters and basically just live more in that world. In the series, you've got Blood and Steel, Vows and Runes, Fates and Furies, and the one I'm currently reading, Shadows and Storms. But we won't discuss that one because I've not finished it, and this is not part of the February reads. In Blood and Steel by Helen Scheuerer, we follow Tia on her journey to become a warrior, one of the first women warriors that has been allowed to bear arms in years in Thezmarr. There was a prophecy a long time ago that involved a girl having a sword, and since then they have stripped all women of their right to hold arms and be part of armies and be warriors. It's been her lifelong dream to be a warrior. She's always felt like she belonged on the field fighting, and unfortunately she's never been able to train because of the prophecy. So we follow her as she fights for her right to bear arms, but also then in her training to become a warrior. I won't say too much about the series because I don't want to spoil anything, and there are so many details to it. It's such a thorough world building. I just love every single detail about this book. I will say the found family is also absolutely amazing in this. All of the characters in Iron and Embers are actually in Blood and Steel in that whole series as well. So it was really nice to see when they actually met, and not just, you know, how they already were. So we met Cal and Kip, who are best friends with Thea, and really formed that family unit, that found family unit. We also meet Wilder, who's the male main character in this series. We meet Torge, who's the male main character in Iron and Embers. And obviously we see Ren, Tia's sister, throughout as well. So like I said, I read the entire series. I'm now on the last book. The one thing I will say is Helen posted a reading order for the series. I haven't read the novella prequel because I didn't have it. I kind of regret that now, but maybe I'll read it at the end, maybe. I have, however, followed the emotional reading order, which involves reading Slaying the Shadow Prince in between Vows and Runes and Fate and Furies. So I actually started Fate and Furies and I was about 100 pages in when I stopped and picked up Slaying the Shadow Prince. I didn't necessarily think it was required, but now having read it, it is actually vital to the current book that I'm on. I feel like there would be a lot of lost information in Shadows and Storms if I hadn't read Slaying the Shadow Prince. Are you still following me here? I'll link the reading order post that Helen did down below so you can keep track here. It's a bit complicated, but it's really not. When you read it, it all makes sense. And it doesn't even feel like enough. Like, I feel like I've inhaled all of these books. Obviously, it's taken me over 3 weeks. But you know what? I've had a life as well. I think I've done pretty well because they're all chunky books at over 400 pages. So I think I did okay. And I'm still following, and I'm about halfway through the last one. So we're going strong, and obviously I'll be talking about it next month as well when I tell you about the last book. I'm hoping it ends really nicely. I sort of already know the ending just from reading Iron and Embers. So I'm already aware of some characters and what their fate will be. And yeah. But this is making me want to reread Iron and Embers, just now that I know more about these characters and about the world. I feel like the stakes in reading Iron and Embers will be even stronger. So I might do that before the book 2 is out. Who knows if I'll have time. There's so many books to read. We'll see. So because I only read 6 books, and half of them I don't want to tell you about so I don't ruin the series, I thought that I could also use this YouTube video to tell you about some of the books that I really want to read in March. Is that cool with you? Okay, let's go. The first book that I'm going to read next on my TBR is Nightshade by Autumn Woods. I'm really excited to read this one. I've seen it everywhere online. So Nightshade is a cozy romantic suspense book. I'm really excited to read it. Let me read you the blurb. When Ophelia Winters accepts a scholarship at a prestigious Scottish university to prove that her parents' death was the fault of Cain Green, an American aviation tycoon, her plan is simple. Keep her grades up and her head down. The last thing she wants is to wind up in a mafia war or step on the toes of royalty. Her plan gets off to a rocky start when the mysterious man that almost kills her on her first day turns out to be Kane's eldest son. As far as she's concerned, Alex Corbo Green is a younger version of his billionaire father, a monster hiding beneath a beautiful facade. Loneliness has been Ophelia's only dependable companion for years, but when anonymous threats and mysterious occurrences start to haunt her time at Sorrow Song, she wonders if she really can survive there on her own. Between being paired together for a project and ending up as each other's alibi for a murder, avoiding Alex becomes increasingly impossible. She begins to fall for the soft heart that hides beneath his hard exterior. Tormented by a malicious stalker and increasingly close to Alex, Ophelia's desperation for revenge wavers for the first time. Can she really bring herself to pull the trigger on Kane now that she knows the family will split into two? Dun, dun, dun. So it seems like it's an enemies to lovers mystery, grumpy, slow burn with spice and tension, and yeah, he falls first. I'm quite excited. So I'll be reading this as soon as I finish the Legend of Thezmarr series. The next book I want to read is Spring Awakening by J.S. Jasper. I'm really excited to read this book. I've talked about it multiple times on this channel already, because I've received the ARC and it's absolutely gorgeous. But let me tell you a bit more about it, and here's the blurb. Mally spent most of her life thinking her dream job didn't exist. Now she's about to start working on the PR for the local rugby team she's supported since childhood and wonders if she just got lucky. The Thezmarr Titans have had a Hollywood-style rise to fame. Well, just above local level fame, but that's still pretty impressive for their small town. Mally knows she can get them further if she keeps her head down. Then Mally runs into her favorite player on the first day. He's a pretty boy that the papers say won't settle down, and she's a girl who wants commitment. So why is he so determined to take over all her thoughts? Zach has fought his way through hurdles to get to where he is today, and he did it alone. The Titans only made it to the National League because of him. Okay. Now, Zach has his sights set on the premiership, and he'll do whatever it takes to get there. He doesn't care what he leaves behind because Thezmarr has never been home. And then he meets Mally, and everything he wants ceases to exist. The team calls him a player, but he's sure he just met the love of his life, and he just can't figure out how to talk to her. Okay, I was already sold on it. I'm just very excited to read this book. The cover is gorgeous. The author is gorgeous. I love her writing style. I read, it's literally just, oh no, it's right there. Perfectly Candid by this author. I really enjoyed it, so I'm excited and looking forward to that one. There's a few books on my Netgalley shelf that I've received in the past few weeks that I really want to read. A couple of them aren't until published until July, so I probably won't read them in March. But I do have a few that have already been released, so I should probably get to those. I have On Wings of Blood by Briar Boleen. I have Silver Cloak by Elke Stephen. I've got My Big Fat Fake Marriage by Charlotte Stein, and Game On by Kai Stevens, Any Trope But You by Victoria Lavigne, Scott and Bothered by Alexandra Kiley, and final but not least, Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. I'm really excited to read all of these actually, and I probably should figure out an order and a priority list to read all of them. There is also a book that is on its way to me right now that I'm really excited to read. So hopefully I will be able to read that one soon. So I have all these Netgalley books that I really need to prioritize, and you'll see next week I have a very long physical TBR that I also need to get through. So yeah, I've got my work cut out for me, I think. So I realized that I completely blanked at the end of this video because of my pain meds, and totally forgot to, thank you guys for watching and all that fun stuff. So thank you for watching. If you have any recommendations as to what I should read first on my Netgalley shelf or from the books that are on my TBR, feel free to let me know. And if you have read the same books that I've read in February, please let me know, because I need to talk about The Legend of Thezmarr to someone, anyone, please.